Ani, Samantha Mindalman, Indigenous Cause. We're here at Thunderbird Park and we are starting the open house. A lot of booths are here. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Samantha Mindalman. I'm going to be your MC today, and this is my co-MC.
Ani, my name is Samantha Grubin. I'm going to be the co-MC today. So yeah, come on out, check out the open house. There's tons of fun things, tons of swag to get. Lots of exciting things happening today.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're going to be kicking things off in a few minutes. We're going to be starting very soon with opening remarks from our DOO, who is our Director of Operations, Miss Shelley. So we're going to get started soon. Sam, do you want to give any messages before we start our day?
We have a couple of things happening in the community. We have projects at the Amacook Senior Center. We have the Department of Lands and Natural Resources summer camp out in Prairie Point. We have a lot of booths in the back for the lands, agriculture. We have a dunk tank happening at 2 p.m.
And the Niche Kickball.
Yes, there is the Seven Nations Challenge. It's going to be Indian baseball. That's going to be happening from all day today.
So yeah, come on down.
Yeah, come on down.
Thanks. We hope to see you here. Come on down, guys. Miigwech.
mic I'm using? Translate.
Oh no, it's up here. Here. I'll just keep it right here. Yeah. You can zoom in on the screen. You're not connected to it.
Kami gwetson ama gesemne do. Edebensket.
Francis
Kami
Mandaman.
gwet gesemne do. Whatever the program delivers, because I know, I see it, I hear it every day. I witness it that they work hard.
Or open house showcasing all of Wequemcong's programs, fire trucks, the Zamboni heavy equipment. There should be a school bus or school buses there very shortly, but go take a look over there. And that is a showcase of what the community, what we have as operations collectively acquired through writing proposals. So we do, I know the programs go above and beyond to access those services, support for everyone coming here. This is, I believe, our second year that we've had the open house here down. Services are provided. If there's anything you're looking for, if there's any gaps you want to identify that we can work on from an operational perspective, I'm definitely open to having those conversations with our community members today. Nahao miigwech, and enjoy the day here. Take it all in and find out all you can from every program that we have within the community, our partners in the community, and external partners. Nahao miigwech.
Nahao miigwech Shelley. That was a wealth of information. I hope you all were taking notes. I'm going to kick things off now with introducing our next presenter, and this is the one, the only.
Mi da shwe skittam na do ik zeg ja atsen do ik kwep kom. Ode ginje was ginje kobau kchino kameng ode togoning ning jint ka dewe ndoe jong ode ngoje be shutte magat manda. Te magat ge go dewe kat pinne dort gunda nishna bek. Anje mi ga dort. Gunda na doek minos gunda tawak. Skit tam bidugos no gunda na doek. Ni ki mas to gunda
My
tawak.
voice there.
Ki mas to.
Ni zebak.
Mi das mino.
Not the way I'm about. Not the way.
Mino ans mino gibip ska bi tawa.
Imiga tuk.
Esko mi
Imiga nikuda. They came back the second time and they had another.
We no go gi mas go no go ne gi ga na gi chao chega so.
They came down the second time. They almost killed everybody.
Kidet naki oxgun man pina to exunda man pisak nedomnessing. Mi the swear.
Mohawks, they came by. They came in large amounts.
Nishna Begishan Kadana in Detroit. Oh, yet no.
They danced the opposite way.
Ekaton.
That's just the way it
What
is.
the Nagasato get to see Mak. Ekador, Taha Migo Shagan Chitep Bedon. Me will have a show ever give a cognagon.
And that's what I heard as growing up as a
Noshmanda.
child.
Ning. It may go to Batamamba on the Tawa, keep a Nokia, keep a Wikinakia, do me not Minon and then the Apia, not well. Me the swear. Aha, another magum. Ginach to none him, Nedo, Nesteven Mangawagi,
Dawa
not to Ekidek.
asked the Ojibwe and Potawatomi to work together
Me the swear.
and fight back.
Me the
Nodwek, the Mohawk people.
The
Three Fires Confederacy. Three tribes. They went against the Mohawk. When that did happen, they got them back. They pushed them back. War. They almost finished them off. Some of the Mohawks, they ran away. They had to. Via Killarney, down the south. They killed all these Mohawk people. And they only left one survivor, purposely. Ways of describing homesteads along the shoreline.
Ja, dat is gedaan, man. Hoe doe je dat niet? Daar wacht men ons chipboy. Zo is goed het ten
We have three big fields. Each big field represents the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and Potawatomi.
En ons man dat dan schouwen bezig. Aso ket maar ba. Nishnabe ba. Ja, gishen casa. Obat kot. Gide wat je tag man da obat kot ning. Ning gete ode no gite gete kuna wikwem kung. Skit tam ganchen na kishnot nishnabek. Ning jen kade. Wikwem kung sing. Wikwem kung sing jen kade we. Ni ode ni u nang go chiki bogi de ya kamam nek ke kangom kong mi dus ya mi samam pi ode no gi tek am pi wi o me san gi te non keda hata da wa ke ske to gosh ke ya ge go san da gi be to no nak ki o keda das ma bosa snabeba ke gi nach mo to nang go sens nang go to sabbo ni ge set ke da mi gi skab ki biget chwe ne got ide ki biget ne got ne so ya paye sok ke do nang go ni bdan snabe ga wo yok ket si go je ne snabes mi wone ke mi shok ma ba ne na jmo to do ke snabe ma wasa o bat got mi dos meno ya ko de gi te 그치 쓴오데 나 원칙업 나 비고 게다와 아시백 서고 나기 야온 나 되고 미싱에게 워피 아니 조에 먹면어 기크치식 세싱에 왜 아시백 미국 기나기 비에스카 미더스 문건더니스나 베고 오데메고 엔다프닉 미고 기나고 기베 마치 보야 다파주구나 기사겐지게요 거다 mi mandane ke yat ke adma khabe no dma mi ne na shande binje mi ge no ga shigi shoyat we mi mande jik ke dia we jigi shoy na pjak bat tin to na nishna be yin mi upane go de bat dma wi ba pinge go te mo to ge Ti vasta ko tukun anu kot nang go go kido tukun da nishnabek. Pes ko na go ma ap jogo go dam na pchege yok. Ni jot kas mi ma ba. Nishnabe ba manda asoka no te no esga da batang. Ayin. Wo bat ko da ba. Mi manda be jega.
Miigwech, Joe, that was amazing. It's so beautiful to hear the language. Chumigwech, chumigwech, chumigwech. A couple announcements going on right now. Indian baseball is starting at 11, and Gerard is looking for Wikwemkong and Shigwenda teams. If you are playing Indian baseball, please go to the dugout. Also, there is free cold water here at the first aid station in the water troughs, so feel free to help yourselves. Also, there is a white Civic Honda that is a Honda Accord, a white Honda Accord that's blocking the road at the back. If you can please move your car, that would be very helpful to people leaving. What was the other announcements? The what? Oh, yes. Also, what is it, Prevention Services? Prevention. Yeah. Prevention Services is doing a draw for a black Weber. You could see your hands together and give a nice big warm welcome to Joshua Mantwabi. Also, do you know if any of you have questions for Mr. Joe Pelche, the one
of the Odawa and Potawatomi and Ojibwe. I'll start off talking about the early 17th century history of when we first met the French, and I'll talk about some wampum belts and the Treaty of Niagara, and then I'll get into the War of 1812 and talking about the treaty history here in on Ndinom, this thing, Odawa, Minis, our home here on the island. So when I talk about treaties, I ask the question, what is a treaty? But what were some of the reasons for making a treaty? So originally, we had to heal harm caused by settler colonialism and warfare. We had to compensate for lands that were taken illegally. We had to prevent war, prevent rumor driving fishing economy here in Wikwemkong. Promises, these were the reasons for making treaties. So I'm going to talk about our people when Champlain first met the Odawa. He first met the Odawa in the summer of 1615 at the end of July or early August, or lard or moose hide, and we would have our faces painted in either half of our face would be painted blue or half of it would be painted green, and we fixed up our hair. And when our people went out to travel, we would carry our paints with us, and we would fix ourselves up. French, the Sable Odawa. The Sable is a word in French that means fine sandy beach. Clan people, and they lived all the way the Beaver people, the Bay of the Mick. And there was all kinds of different groups that lived all on the shores of Lake Huron when the Europeans arrived. But these are some of the main groups. And then some of our neighbors were the Wendats, the Paitons, the Nipissing, and then we have the Ojibwe, our brothers to the northwest of us, and the Potawatomis down to the south. So when we talk about treaty history and when we talk about governance and the Anishinaabe governance, we have to remember our clan system, the Dodem system. And that's how we governed ourselves. We governed ourselves through the 7-star clan system. There was the Fish clan, who were the intellectuals, the mediators. There was the Hoof clan, the deer, the moose, reindeer, and caribou fell under this clan, the Hoof clan. And they were the gentle people and the reconcilers. We had the Martin clan, who were the warriors. Europeans were adopted into what we call the covenant chain. So the covenant chain relationship was based off of the Haudenosaunee people, the Iroquois Confederacy, of allies that they had in their confederacy who were allies to their confederacy. They called it the covenant chain. And there is a wampum belt that is known as the covenant chain wampum belt. But in 1613, the Mohawks had met the Dutch around where New York City is, along the Hudson River. And this time was that the French wanted to start searching for copper mines, the Anishinaabe copper mines that we had on the south shore of Lake Superior and the eastern shore of Lake Superior. And they sent out Intendant St. Lusson to seek out the copper mines. And St. Lusson actually spent the winter amongst the Odawa, traveling on Manitoulin and the North Shore, and they hunted that winter. And there's a story in the record where it says that they captured 2,400 moose through snaring, or different ways of how we hunted moose back then. So there was a lot more animals around here back then. So they traveled to Sault Ste. Marie in 1671, and he has a large council with the Anishinaabe and other indigenous nations around the Great Lakes. And what France was claiming was that they wanted to claim the land, and they called it the Pays de Hut, the upper country. And they claimed all the land down to the Gulf of Mexico, to the Great Lakes, and all to the western part of North America. And they had a piece of paper there at this ceremony, and they planted a large cross on top of the hill in Sault Ste. Marie. So this is when we first have and there was 1,300 indigenous leaders at that conference. And the groups from here, those 5 Odawa groups that I talked about, the 4 main Odawa groups, and including the Amikwa, we were all attended that council in 1701 at the Great Peace of Montreal. We affirmed a older treaty that we had with the Haudenosaunee. And this older treaty was known as the Dish with the One Spoon Belt, the Dish with the One Spoon Wampum Agreement. And this Dish with the One Spoon is a very old agreement that we had with the Haudenosaunee. We had this agreement before Europeans came to North America. And we reaffirmed this relationship with the Haudenosaunee in 1645 and then again in 1701. But what it talks about, this belt, the Dish with One Spoon belt, it's referring to the land, the natural resources in between the Anishinaabe territory and in between its peoples. So a lot of Odawa moved to Detroit in 1701, and the Grand Chief of the Odawa at the time, he spoke for all 4 of these Odawa nations. He's talking about the Odawa of the Sable, so known as the Kimigaw, and those are our people that came from here. And then the Odawa Sinigo, the ones who lived on the southern part of Lake Huron, the Tigishkans, and the Odawa of the Fork. So these were the 4 main groups. And in between 1713 global conflict, so the outcome determined the balance of power. First Nations that fought with France, and about 1,000 of them came from the Anishinaabe territory. They came from Manitoulin, Michilimackinac, Detroit area. And there was about 300 Odawa, 350 Ojibwe, and about 300 Potawatomi that fought with the French at the Battle of Fort William Henry. So the Odawa, Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Mississauga, and Nipissing peoples, they mustered a strong military force, and they exchanged wampum belts in 1760. And on December 3rd of 1760, there were belts and speeches made by the Odawa chiefs, and this is the first time that the Anishinaabe are adopted into what we know as the covenant chain relationship, that we had an alliance with the British Crown. And this was known today as the Detroit Peace Belt. And this wampum belt is held in Detroit at the Detroit Historical Society. And this Detroit belt of 1760 actually represents our people as well, the Anishinaabe people who came from the northern part of Lake Huron and northern Michigan. And for living on our lands, they would give us these arts forming all around in Michigan and Ohio and Indiana and Illinois. And Chief Pontiac organizes all of the Anishinaabe. He travels around and he gathers all of the best warriors from all of the communities. And he starts passing these war belts around. Britain had not defeated the Anishinaabe Nation within the Great Lakes area. During the 7 Years' War, the British did not penetrate into the interior of Anishinaabe-Aki, into the lands of Michigan and Northern Ontario. So we were still considered sovereign nations living in our territory. So this conflict actually forced the British Crown to amend policies in the 1763 Royal Proclamation level with the British Crown, which is known today as the federal government. So the basis of all treaties, we did not agree to that piece of paper until it was validated and ratified through wampum. And we did that at 1764 Treaty of Niagara. So in the Royal Proclamation, it makes a distinction between nations or tribes of Indians with whom we are connected and of presence. So some of the Anishinaabe wanted to move west into indigenous territory. They wanted to move west over the Appalachian Mountains. So this proclamation line went all the way from Florida all the way up to the Great Lakes, and it protected our territory as indigenous territory. So the Americans go to war against their king, who was known as the King of Britain at the time. And this is called the American Revolution, that was fought between 1775 and 1783. So Britain is defeated by what? So basically, they wanted to control the Great Lakes. Whoever controlled the water, whoever controlled the Great Lakes, controlled the continent and the interior to the continent, and with us. So there's another wampum belt called the Sir John Johnson wampum belt, and that was he's trying to make a new confederacy, and he wants all the indigenous nations to move to the Ohio country. Ohio, like Illinois and Indiana and Michigan, and they wanted to make it an indigenous territory. And he was talking about this dish. He was calling it the dish with one spoon region. Let's all go live in the dish area. So the British are afraid to fight the Americans at this time, and they're not ready to go to war. But the Anishinaabe people in 1790 are ready to go